Hello everyone. So in this video, I want to talk about apps in Jira. Now, good thing about Jira is that there are uh, there are a lot of apps, plenty of apps in fact, and these apps can extend the functionality of your Jira instance. Now, if you're a new Jira adopter, let us say in your organization you want to use Jira, or maybe you're already using Jira, and you want to do something which is not there already in the tool, then you can definitely look at apps. And these apps make sense because Jira as a tool essentially is an issue tracker, and some of the functionality, or in fact, I should say, lot of the functionality, or especially the use case or a specific thing that you want to do, may not be very obvious when it comes to using the tool for the very first time or if you're new to Jira. But in this video, I actually wanted to talk about installing too many apps, or in fact installing no app, or in fact very less apps when it comes to using Jira. Now, people often forget, or maybe they don't realize, or maybe they don't know it, or maybe for some reason Atlassian is not really talking about it a lot anymore, that Jira essentially is, it has always been for many years nothing but an issue tracker. Now, this is actually very important. Jira is a tool which you can use to do project management, but Jira won't really do project management for you. And at the same time, because Jira is an issue tracking tool, which is highly customizable, you can actually do a lot of wonderful things without installing an app. Now, let me give you a very simple example in this video so that you can hopefully relate. In fact, I will give you two examples. Let us say you are using Jira for software development, right? Now, when it comes to software development, people usually release something, and they release something when they develop, and of course they test something. Now, depending upon the level of your testing processes or how mature your testing is, you can actually use Jira for test management without installing any app. In fact, in in my book Mastering Jira, I have basically covered some of these use cases, basically about test management. So you can always create your own issue type called as test campaign, and within a test campaign, you can then create a test case. And of course, it won't be like a proper test management tool, but you can definitely do lightweight testing using nothing but Jira. So you can have a workflow for your test campaign, and then you can have a similar workflow, or maybe a bit more detailed or refined workflow for test case. Basically, when it comes to test campaigns, you can create a test campaign for basically a particular type of activity or a feature that you want to release. And test cases are something, of course, that you want to make sure that they all pass. So if you have one test case which is failing, then you would do the whole thing again. Of course, when you're doing it within Jira without using any app like Zephyr, and it is called as Smart Bears, Zephyr Scale, and Zephyr. So basically, using those apps, you can create cycles and executions, and of course, I'm not really comparing, but when it comes to lightweight testing, you can do it without an app. So this is of course one example. The other example that I want to give you is, let us say you want to keep track of your employees' vacations, but at the same time you want some way for your employers to raise a request. Now, of course, I'm not really saying that use Jira for, Jira will probably not replace your proper standard HR tool, but if you have one tool which is Jira, and if you know how to configure it, you can do a lot of these lightweight things. Like, you can create one project to keep track of your employees, right? Number one, and you can create one one task per employee, or let us say you can call it as, maybe you can create your own issue type, but basically one issue per employee. Let us not worry about the type. You can call it as employee, but you can then create that particular issue hidden from everyone else except that person, and uh, or maybe your HR team basically, or maybe that person's manager. So basically, you can create some kind of issue security. But the thing is that within that particular issue, you can ask or maybe you can keep track of your employees' documents, number one. And you can maybe do something similar when it comes to raising a request for vacations. So let us say if I need a vacation, I can request for that using Jira. I can raise a new issue, and of course I can select or I can fill in the start date or an end date maybe, and then I can raise a request, and then the request will go to someone, maybe my manager, and that request will be approved or rejected. And once it is approved, then of course it will be nothing but some information stored somewhere in the tool, which you can then query or use in some other way. So basically what I'm trying to say is that for doing lightweight things, you don't really need to use a dedicated app. So make a decision based on what exactly you're trying to achieve. If your testing needs are important, or if you're looking for a proper HR system, or if you're looking for a proper CRM, then use a proper tool. Don't really use Jira in those cases. But I've seen a lot of instances where people install a lot of apps, but they don't really spend time doing some research about the capabilities of the apps. And even if the app is great, I'm not really saying that don't install the apps because apps are not good. I'm saying that look at your usage, look at your goals, what exactly you're trying to do. If you are using Zephyr but you're doing very basic test management, then you're probably wasting your money, unless you have a lot of money to burn. But I guess when it comes to using Jira, irrespective of data center or cloud, try not to use too many apps unless you can't live without that particular feature. All right, that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you found this video useful and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.